Hi, and today is day 5 of the 9 candles, which means we've made it halfway through for you valiant folks who've made it this far. And you made it on a great day. Here is my partner in crime from a long time ago, even before I was on the air. This is Andrea Lilac Lantern. Is it Andrea or Andrea?
Plain old Andrea.
Andrea, okay.
But
Because
you can
down
say it
here,
any way you want.
well, down here they say Andrea because of
Yes,
you're Andrea. I got to remember,
Andrea.
go back to my Midwestern roots.
That's right.
Andrea of Lilac Lantern. That's where you'll most likely find her. And as always, we're going to go and light the candles. Go to the table and light the candles. See if I.
Thank you for having me.
Oh well, you're. It's so nice to see someone from my home country,
Yes.
my
Here,
homeland,
where we're in 10 inches of snow right now, at
and it's
least.
going to be 82 here today. So don't. Can't please everybody, you know.
No. And you see, I went very green for you. I want a green sweater, green backdrop,
Right. And
and
for
your
those,
green crystal grid.
and for some poor soul who's walked in and said, "This is a fifth day of what?" Um, we're doing 9 candles. We light 9 candles, and I read an intention. And the thoughts of this 9 candles is the reason we're doing it now is we're going into the spring equinox, which will be on the 20th or 21st, depending on where you live. And that's the time that the night and the day are equal on our planet. But there are 4 times a year. There's the equinoxes when the nights are equal, and then there's solstices, which are the longest or shortest day of the year. And on those days, in particular, if you study earth energies, the ley lines go straight. They get completely orderly. They're much more powerful. If you know of a ley line around you and you go on it on the equinox or the solstice, you can really feel the energy. I found one in front of my house, and I go out. I'm going to be out there on that day talking to Hogarth, my tree. That's the tree that's attached to them. But so I got green candles this time because it's a vernal equinox, and yay! And the other part is that because when I was talking to another reader about this, we decided that we wanted to. They pulled a card for me from their shaman deck, and it was cactus, which is resourcefulness, and so all of the little candles this time are little cactuses. They don't stay cactuses long once you light them. They kind of melt down and become green. But their green is for the heart, and this is truly a healing, a time when we are beginning to truly understand our own consciousness and healing our own hearts. So we light these candles to help focus our consciousness and to appreciate how when we join together our intentions with like-minded beings, we are preparing to move Gaia, Mother Earth, and the new Earth into an emerging planetary patterns. First, by centering each individual's vibes with the coming times, and then by living with the awareness of our own strength that is part of the energy of the new earth, that we will feel free to romp and play in these new uncharted seas. So,
Mm.
2, 3, 4. And Andrea's, which is
There's mine.
it's
It's so
her.
pretty with the little red
It's got
flowers.
its little red cactus berries on it. And in the center of the candles are the stones that these are called desert roses. And I got to grab it quick because man, that's hot in there. Um, and it looks like a little rose, and that's not carved by a person. That's carved by the wind in a selenite field in Oklahoma. All 3 of those specimens came from Oklahoma. That's just the sand blowing and carving the selenite out. And I think they're just the most gorgeous, wonderful
Stunning.
abstract shapes. Okay. Now, okay, so now I really want everyone to take time to think about just breathing, getting their act kind of combined together. And Andrea's going to give us her words of wisdom on romping or uncharted seas. You get a big choice there.
Let's go uncharted seas.
Okay.
So you and I just had a wonderful conversation backstage,
Mhm.
and you were talking about the times to come. And
Mhm.
it's, yourself and I and others who are enlightened are, a few steps ahead of the general
Mhm.
population who is going to start stepping into this awareness.
Mhm.
And I thought it was fabulous what you were saying is that we're here to help guide. Just because
Yes.
we're a few steps ahead, it's not like we're,
And we
oceans ahead.
and we learned from people who are a few steps ahead of us.
That's right. And that's a beautiful pattern that we can see, that we can share that knowledge with each other. And I would say, don't be afraid. When you said that people's gifts are going to start opening up with this equinox, you said backstage,
Yeah.
you said like there's a wave coming. So
Mhm.
those who have gifts will probably get sharper or more gifts.
Mhm.
And those who are stepping into the pool,
Really?
like
It's fine. The water's fine.
it's going to be okay. It'll be a little shock to your system if you start having really profound dreams, or you sense or hear something, or your intuition picks up a lot. It's okay. There are those of us out there who have been living with this for a long time, and we're okay, and you're going to be okay. And
Mhm.
it's very exciting. And what it is it's connecting you to your higher self, right? Your
Mhm.
soul and all the knowledge that's up there, right? Your soul has, most of us have had a soul that's been around a few times or many times. And all that knowledge is stored up there.
Mhm.
And when we come into our human body, we maybe don't remember any of it. Or like I think the whole mission when we're here is to connect with the human and experience, right?
Mhm.
Our human body and become one, the human body and the soul together. And that's probably a really foreign concept to some people, and other people get it, right?
Right.
You just get it. So I pulled two cards that are amazing, given what this is about. I got the Magician, which is the number one card. This says so much to me. So getting back to oneself, connecting with the self, connecting with the soul and all the information, because the soul is connected to the collective, right? We are
Mhm.
one, right? Literally got the number one there. So connecting to the whole thing and understanding who we are and what we are and why we're here and what we can do and resonate and love and all that kind of stuff. And we have the Magician. That to me is saying we have the power within us to do this. Now, we
Mhm.
aren't taught that at school. We aren't taught that in religion, I don't think.
Mhm.
Um, that we have the power within. We can connect to ourself, to our higher self. We connect to the creator, all those words you want to use. We have the power within to connect to the one.
Mhm.
And then I look at it, got star seed. So we
Wow.
see all those seeds that are planted here are going to start blooming, right? That higher
Mhm.
consciousness on earth, all that information coming in that we could share with each other. I think if you go through history, certainly recent history, what, 500 years or something, we have been told not to use our psychic gifts or our
Mhm.
intuition. We've been told how to think and what to do. This is a whole new day dawning,
Mhm.
right? Where we are getting information from the collective, from the one, from the creator, and sharing with ourselves. You and I won't have to you and I don't have to talk to each other face to face.
No.
You know, as our skills get stronger, we can send messages, telepathy, right?
Right.
So we have very exciting times ahead. These uncharted, and even for people like you and me, and people who are even, whatever gifts they have, if they're going to be getting stronger and we're going to
Mhm.
be connecting with more of us,
Mhm.
that is uncharted.
Yes.
That's uncharted for us.
Mhm.
And that's exciting. And I'm ready. I'm like in the boat with my life jacket on at the front of the boat, ready to go to these uncharted seas.
And the other part of the Uncharted Seas, there's two things. Your star seed card's gorgeous, and for those of you who don't read much about the changes in natural science that is not our science, but they've been tracking it. In 2017, our galaxy rolled out of a part of the universe where there was some sort of a cloud around us that stopped a lot of the photonic subatomic particles from coming in and hitting us. And those are the bad zoobies that can, if you get exposed to them too much on Earth, can cause you problems. But the universe is now sparkling us with it all the time. We're constantly going through showers of this photonic energy. And when I was looking this information up a year ago, I found that one of the first places they saw that was really making a change in humans is a lot of the new cancer therapies that are so targeted. They'd be going in and looking and seeing what was happening to these cells on a DNA type levels,
Wow. Yeah.
and they started seeing changes they weren't putting in there.
Whoa.
And they started looking around saying, what's this? And then they started doing people who weren't under cancer therapy and finding many of them were showing the same changes. So we have, what is it, 90% of the DNA is uncharted. It's they call it junk DNA. In America we do. In Russia they actually study it, but here we don't. And it's realigning our quote junk DNA to work with our DNA. So we're getting changed on a cellular level.
And same with the brain. They say we use what, 10% of our brain?
Oh yeah.
What's going on in the other 90%? And I'm ready for that to be switched on.
I don't know. Some from what I've seen in the 10%. I really want to know. But we roll with the punches. But this is the whole awakening. And if you think about it, this rolling in and out of this cloud happens every 13,000 years. And they knew that because it actually changes the molecular structure of stones. And I got this from my crystal people. And they knew every 13,000 years, and they go back 26,000 years, and they go back another 13,000 years in the records in the rocks, and they could say, what hit the earth? What happened? Where'd this come
Ooh.
from? So I figured when I first heard about that, it was actually changed things in rocks, and I was like, if it's changing stuff in rocks, what's it going to do to my cute little chubby body? I mean, really? And it's upgrading it. As a matter of fact, my doctor told me a year ago when I had my physical that following the 10 years of my physicals before, that I was actually aging backwards.
I love it.
On a cellular, yeah, I know, we'll take it. Go sit down. Where are those
Okay, where do I go?
Where do I find that photon factory? Anyway.
So these changes are happening, and like you just said, they're going to be beyond science explanation, at least immediately beyond their explanation, right?
We're going to meet in the middle. We're going to say, yeah, we felt this coming all along. And they're going to have their thing. And I won't bore you because I just couldn't even work it into this round. But there's a physics beyond quantum physics that explains our unification theory of us all being energy and being one.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. And there's a consciousness school of it, and there's a cognitive school of it. And I know my second husband was a physicist, and that's as much as I know about physics was what he forced me to listen to when I was with him. But he kept telling me, and he was one of the physicists that invented microchips, guys. I mean, he was not a...
Whoa.
Yeah. And he kept telling me, they're going to figure out what you do. It's in physics. He said, they're going to find it, just like we didn't know what lightning was. I don't know what's going on.
My cat, one of the cats just trying to get attention. It worked.
It worked. He said, I don't know what it will be, but they're going to find it. And he said, it's just like we always thought, fire and electricity was Thor, and we had to create gods to explain it and stuff. And he said, and then once we understood the physics of electricity, now it's just, it's electricity. And he said, that's where what you do is going to be. Yeah. And Andre is right. It's time for us to get green. And if you are changing into this, don't be afraid of it.
So take the green as your heart chakra.
Right.
Walk into this with love, right? Yeah. Open your heart. Walk into this with love. Understand that there's others who have these gifts that you may you are waking up to. And it's okay. This is all part of our enlightenment and our advancement. And also with green, I want to talk about nature for a little bit.
Okay, good.
Becoming one with ourselves and our higher self, soul, the one collective creator, also the earth and
Mm-hmm.
flora. Okay, so the trees, the plants, the water, the dirt, all of it. The poem you shared with me called Breathe is outstanding. Boy, that poem really made
I'm
me stop in
I'm
my
gonna put it
tracks.
in. I'm gonna put it in the resource folder on my website at Crystal
Okay.
Directions. It's just really long to read, guys. If we read it, that's all you'd ever hear for the whole nine candles. So.
It's just beautiful. And, it's about, it has part of nature in it, I'd
Mm-hmm.
say. Uh, we really, we are here because of nature. So we are able to exist because of the water. We can breathe the air that is created, the oxygen that's created by the trees. And, we live in the symbiotic relationship that we don't think about on a daily basis. So I want us to start thinking about being one, and having harmony with the earth and what it offers us. It allows us to live. So
Mm-hmm.
why are we doing things that don't allow it to live? Why are we chopping down all the trees? Trees are the lungs of the earth, which are our lungs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we soiling the water, just, ruining the water? Why are we doing them, ruining the air? So we really need to
Get it
we
together.
yeah, we need to figure this out. And I don't have all the answers, but I mean collectively we will have the answers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this shift, I hope this shift is part of that awareness. Like we want to survive here. This is our home. It's one home. We have one home right now, humans.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we wouldn't do the things we do to our home that we are doing out in the world that we just pretend we don't know about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pollution and all that stuff. So becoming one with ourselves, becoming one with our soul, becoming one with all the other souls, becoming one with the creator, and becoming one with nature. That to me that's a amusement park ride I want to get on. That's a roller
That's
coaster I
right.
want to get on and be part of that adventure. That's some excitement stuff. Like,
Yeah.
and I think we might have to take a few steps back to how we used to be,
Mm-hmm.
hundreds, thousands of years ago, where we were more in harmony with everything. I think we've lost a step. We got blocked, don't you think?
Yeah, I think it. Well, part of it was uh, in the 1700s when Jupiter and Saturn started meeting in Earth signs only. We had 200 years of meeting in Earth signs, except for 1980 when they met in Libra, which is an air sign. But that was the 10 years that they created the 20 years that they created the the digital world that we're in now. January a year ago, Jupiter and Saturn met at 0 degrees of said no of Aquarius, and I went out the day that it happened and looked at it up in the sky because I've been told about it by an astrologer when I was like 18, and he said, "You'll live to see this. I won't." But he said this is when the paradigm begins to really shift. And people would say to me when I was talking about it before it happened, before COVID, it was actually happened during COVID, but
Mhm.
before COVID, people say, well, what's going to be if we've been Earth all this time? Then what's going to mean when we're now in this other cycle that's air? Well, air is intellect, thought, forward movement, and Earth is building, plowing. The Industrial Revolution is really what Earth, the biggest thing that you and I would see. And so we're going into this, we're either going to be in our own minds using our own consciousness for the best, or we have the option to use our own conscious, hand it over to an AI for the worst. And that's really where we are. And I think more people are turning back to the earth. More people are really beginning to understand that I think COVID, if nothing else, brought it home. Having good health and being able to go out and breathe the air and not worry about every little germ that's headed for your face
Mhm.
is really a great place to be. But this is a whole shift of consciousness, and this is, I'm not an astrologer. I don't even pretend to kind of be one, but I do follow them. And if you find one that you can connect with intellectually, go for it, because they really will help you. But we are going into a new earth, and I definitely feel that. And that's how come I started working with earth energy and the elementals, because the other thing that went away with the Industrial Revolution was the fairies, the elves, the gnomes,
Mm.
all the critters that we used to be able to see when we were in our more innocent state or more attached to the ground. And they're still here. Their energy's here, and it wants to come out and help us again. And they're lining up to help us too. That's another shift. But you have to come to my channel and see that, and talk to me in the garden. Talk to me about those.
Are you gonna invite some elves?
Well,
Elves and fairies. Can I be there?
yeah, well, I finally got dragons down, and I got them kind of ordered in my brain. I have my own dragon, Cecil. When I want to go talk to the elementals, he comes at night, and I get to ride on him. It's so much fun.
Wow.
And it's so funny because I found a group that helps people when they go through consciousness shifts, and they help you after you've had the consciousness shift, not before. They can't tell you how to get there, but they can tell you, oh yeah, you're here now. They call it when you meet when you meet your higher consciousness, and when you become in touch with the one, they call that riding the dragon. And it was
Nice.
very separate of me knowing anything about Cecil. Anyway, we are on a very exciting journey, and each reader that I've have coming in, I have had an astrologer. I've had a person who works with ETs and fly spaceships. She's lots of fun. I've had a reader who's been reading for a long time and is incredibly skilled at understanding these energies. I have a woman who's gone through this consciousness shift and is creating a new aromatherapy business, and she's studying all the modalities, trying to figure out the best way to work with people, but she's in the middle of changing her life from being a businesswoman before to now being a businesswoman in this sphere. She's kind of interesting. And now I have an incredibly skilled reader, and I'm going to show you. This is the card I pulled for today's reading. I wanted to help this little upstart company in Canada.
Giving that little upstart a shout out.
Yeah, shout out. This is Lilac Lanterns deck. And see, it doesn't matter how you get there. Cars, trucks, planes, boats. Just get on the ride and come on.
Yeah, the movement is happening.
Mm-hmm.
This is exciting times, and I'm so glad that we're here to see it and shepherd it in any way we can.
Yes, and it is because the earth does tighten its act up, and I believe the earth is alive, and it pulls its nervous system together on the equinoxes and solstices, like I said. So if you follow these 9 candles, it should be what path do I need to tighten up? Where do I need to look for that I'm going? That can be part of your 9 candles, or anything else you want your 9 candles to be. So do you have anything else to add from the frozen north before I can kid her. She lives where my parents grew up. I've been there. I had a cake freeze in the trunk of my car in April. It's cold.
But there again, that's living with nature. So humans adapting, because we can't beat it. Mother Nature always wins.
Well, yeah, I've lived through 118 degrees right? Too. So
we have to adapt to her. And I think in some cases we haven't been. We've been abusing or, taking her for granted. So my final words of wisdom is get on the ride. Don't be afraid. There's all of us out here with you, right? We're all here together, and we're all going to man the ship or the ride or whatever in the right direction together. And that is awesome.
Okay.
That's awesome.
So now we're going to blow out the candles. Just like birthdays. Very good.
Yay!
And as the flames, I was taught in the church I went to, we lit candles for prayers, and that all of that smoke that was wafting up there is carrying our thoughts and our energies up to the heavens. So
beautiful.
Anyway, you have a lovely day.
Well, thank you for having me on your 9 green candles.
9 green candles.
And not candle number 5.
And I want to thank everyone who's here. If you've never seen Andrea before,
Andrea.
she's at Lilac Lantern, which is on her thing, and I'm in Nancy Jean's Garden. Please like and share and let all your friends in that need. We all need a little more ritual, a little more thinking about things ahead of time in our lives. So,
Well, that's the thing, that what you're doing, it helps people just slow down
mm-hmm.
and put concentrated thought into something, because we can get so distracted with all, rush hour and working and, running the kids to school or whatever your daily routine is. But it's really good just to slow it all down and concentrated thought. And then if we're all doing it, ooh.
Yes, then it gets really powerful. Anyway, thank you, Andrea, for being here, and I will talk. I'll see you people tomorrow. It'll be 6 o'clock my time, Central Daylight Time. No, yeah, it will be Central Daylight Time. Yeah. Okay. Bye.